Party of Life just voted to feed your 6-year-old but starve your 8-year-old. Make it make sense. So in that big, beautiful bill that Republicans just passed in the House, they quietly added this new provision that lowers the age of a child dependent on SNAP from 17 to 7.
It's NTR.Takeout. Please like the video, share, and subscribe to the channel.
So today we have some quick updates on some bills that's being passed by the Republicans that has many people raising their eyebrow. One bill, which includes lowering the age of children that receive SNAP benefits to eat each month from 17 years of age to 7. I do have to say, y'all, that is insane. They're basically viewing 7-year-olds as an independent adult who can feed and care for themselves. And I cannot say that I agree. We'll also be taking a peek into Donald Trump's new deportation rules, also Trump's cuts to Medicaid, a little bit on Grant Hardin. We'll also hear China's message to the United States and more. Drop those comments below, y'all.
You campaigned on lowering the price of groceries. How do you justify cutting food assistance in this bill?
Let me just tell you, the cut is going to give everybody much more food because prices are coming way down. Groceries are down. Eggs. You told me about eggs. You asked me a question about eggs. My first week, you said eggs. I said, I just got here. Tell me about eggs. And there's no through the roof. You know that eggs now way down. Everybody's buying eggs. Groceries down. Energy's down. Gasoline is now they're buying gasoline now for $1.99. If you look back, you'll see $3.50, $4. This country, we're going to lose this country. Our country now is respected all over the world. All over the world we're respected.
I have to make a confession. You guys were right and I was wrong. You guys kept telling me that Trump was making cuts to Medicaid. And I kept screaming on a mountaintop, he's not making cuts. He's not making cuts. But guess what? I was wrong. You were right. Here are the cuts that Donald Trump is making to Medicaid.
Medicaid will no longer be used to pay for barbaric gender mutilation procedures on minor children. And the 1.4 million illegal aliens who are currently improperly receiving Medicaid benefits will be kicked off the program to preserve it for hardworking American citizens who need it. President Trump and Republicans are protecting Medicaid benefits for pregnant women, children, disabled individuals, low-income seniors and families, and the most vulnerable Americans in our society.
It's just not the cuts y'all was screaming on the mountaintop. Of course he's cutting those surgeries, as I agree. Of course he's making cuts to Medicaid so those migrants won't be getting our heart-wrenching benefits and all the rest of the cuts. You see, your party, them liberals, they were trying to make it seem like he was going to cut you off of Medicaid. No, he was cutting waste, fraud, and abuse.
Breaking fuck the news. This is Grant Hardin. Grant Hardin is a former police chief. Grant Hardin was serving a 30-year sentence for schmurder. He was also serving an additional sentence for grape. Grant Hardin escaped prison and is currently on the run. There is an extensive manhunt looking for this man. A former prosecuting attorney said that this man has no moral core and is a danger to society. Welcome to the shit show.
Breaking news. China has gone ahead and sent a strong warning to the United States. You won't believe it. This is what they've gone ahead and said. America, you have no idea what you are dealing with. Our drones are already above your skies, invisible to your radar. Your cities would even know what hit them when our fighter jets break down the sound barrier. And those nuclear bombs you thought were your power, we've got something far worse. We've deployed seaboats deep beneath your oceans, waiting for your last mistake. One signal from us and your entire coastal line will vanish. Imagine this is China sending a warning to the United States, and the entire coastal line will vanish, not in days, but in few minutes. You won't see it coming. You'll never know what destroyed you. Literally, we've already won the war. You just know it yet. Because what's coming, you can never defeat. What's your opinion at the comment section about China and the United States?
Breaking news about the COVID-19 vaccine. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. just announced that the CDC will no longer recommend routine COVID shots for healthy children and pregnant women. Here is Kennedy in his message released on X moments ago.
Last year, the Biden administration urged healthy children to get yet another COVID shot despite the lack of any clinical data to support the repeat booster strategy in children.
The change comes a week after the FDA commissioner announced the agency planned to restrict the use of COVID shots to older adults and children and adults with underlying medical conditions.
We have some breaking news coming out of LA that can make the already devastating situation there even worse than it already is. Apparently, the Eaton fire in LA is barreling towards the Mount Wilson Observatory, which is on top of, obviously, Mount Wilson. Now, this is important because there's a communications tower that sits on top of Mount Wilson. This tower controls local TV, radio, and emergency services communications. So what does this mean? Well, if it goes down, one, locals aren't going to have TV or radio. They're not going to be able to see what's going on. But number two, if it goes down, it's going to make it much harder for firefighters, EMS, first responders to coordinate efforts to try to fight and quell these firefighters and get people to safety, putting more homes and more people, more property in jeopardy. Currently, they're already operating on limited communication coming out of there because there's already a power outage going on at the observatory. This is critical infrastructure, y'all. If this goes down, it's going to make these raging fires much, much more difficult for first responders to combat, for people to get out in time. It is absolutely devastating.
If you're divesting and you're taking the money away from, training and policy reform in police departments that's so desperately needed, where are you putting that money? That money ain't all spent. The fiscal year isn't over. Okay? So where are you putting all that money? Where's it all going? And as this current administration keeps divesting from these nonprofit agencies, from these policies, these reforms, these decrees that we have put in as safeguards, not only are you removing a safeguard, but you're removing the funding from that. Where does that funding go? It ain't going to us. It's not going to you. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and fill the pockets, continue filling the pockets. And then y'all going to sit there and support it. Like, oh, we didn't need this. Okay. But what did you need? And did you get it? No? Okay. Yeah, we're all in the same boat sharing oars. And once y'all realize that and you figure that shit out, that part right there, hopefully we can get together and we can actually develop some plans on how to get us who are in the trenches together out of this shithole, out of this mess. Tell me what y'all think about this. Like, share, comment, because I can't believe it. I can believe it, but I can't believe it at the same time. We were making some progress in certain areas like police reform, like just trying to hold people accountable, no matter what position you are in. Holding you accountable. And now we're back to the drawing board. Great work, America. Oh my gosh.
A U.S. citizen. He provided us with documentation of his legal status. He says this experience has shaken his faith in the immigration enforcement efforts of President Donald Trump, for whom he voted, he says. This is what Yenzi Machado managed to record on his phone Wednesday. He says while he was driving to work with two other men, he was stopped by ICE agents on Lamont Drive in Manassas, a short distance from his home. He says he was confused by what was happening, why agents surrounded the pickup truck. He spoke with our sister station, Telemundo 44 reporter Rosbelis Quinones, who was the first to report his story.
And they just got out of the car with the guns in the hands and say, turn off the car, give me the keys, open the window. And, everything was really fast.
Machado says the agents said the name of a man they were seeking for a deportation order, someone who had given Machado's home address. He said that was not his name, and he did not know anyone by that name. He offered to show them this, his Real ID compliant Virginia driver's license. It has a star in the upper right corner and requires proof of lawful status.
How did I get into this country? And if I was waiting for court or if I have any case. And I told him I was an American citizen.
Well, breaking fuck the news and good morning. Donald Trump makes a statement stating on Truth Social that he offered Canada a deal. And the deal was if they wanted to be a part of the new Golden Dome system Trump is building or trying to put in place in the United States, it would cost them $61 billion. But he told them if they wanted to do it for free, They just have to become the 51st state. And he made the claim on True Social that Canada is considering taking his offer. Welcome to the shit show.
We have some big news right now. ICE officials have been told to supercharge arrests as part of this mass deportation effort, according to latest reporting by Axios. Stephen Miller, the Deputy White House Chief of Staff, alongside Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, have essentially told ICE officials that they now need to be arresting up to 3,000 individuals per day, more than triple the original goal set earlier this year at about 1,000 people per day. This means that mass deportation efforts are rising, and they're rising fast. ICE officials have no plans on slowing down deportation efforts. They're now doing it at courthouses by dismissing cases, immigration cases against migrants to be able to fast track removal processes. They're also terminating humanitarian, parole, and other protections that individuals have had in the United States of America, whether fleeing from a foreign country, foreign government, etc. So this is happening, and it's happening now. Spread the word so more people know.
Party of Life just voted to feed your 6-year-old but starve your 8-year-old. Make it make sense. So in that big, beautiful bill that Republicans just passed in the House, they quietly added this new provision that lowers the age of a child dependent on SNAP from 17 to 7. Not 10, not even 13, not even double digits. 7. Which means if your child is 8 or older and you're on food stamps, you better be clocking in at least 80 hours a month or say goodbye to those benefits. Now remember, this is the same party that tells you to keep the baby no matter what. But when it becomes time to feed that baby, suddenly they got budget constraints and a calculator from 1983. So they want people to have children, but then they yank the food support as soon as the child learns long division. The math ain't mathing, y'all, but the cruelty is consistent. Share this with somebody who thinks family values actually means feeding families, because apparently Republicans don't.
If you don't think that something is wrong with the shit that I'm about to show you, then something is wrong with you. So they're saying that they lowered the age of dependence from 18 to the age of 7. You heard what I just said? They lowered the age of dependence from the age of 18 to the age of 7. So they're saying right now that your 7-year-old is responsible enough to take care of a household. Oh, you think I'm playing? Look at this shit. Listen to this shit right here.
From 18 to 7.
7.
So now, if you have an 8-year-old child, it is the belief of this administration that that child is self-sufficient and could work and support the family.
I don't know where this shit is going, but it don't seem like it's about to go the right way. How is it possible for a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old to take care of family? So you have Florida, then you have Iowa stating that these kids can work. Basically what that says to me is that you're viewing these minors as adults. My question to you is, what 8-year-old do you know right now that's responsible enough to go to work, to get paid and take care of family? At that age, they're not even responsible enough to clean up their own rooms. So you're telling me the workforce is more important than giving these kids an education? Or what you're telling me is that these adults want to treat these kids like adults for a reason. And since we're on the topic, what type of jobs will these kids have? This is the question that we have to ask. You see, but this is the type of shit they do behind our backs when everybody is worrying about what's going on with Diddy's and the entertainment industry and what's going on in Hollywood with Justin Bieber and all of this shit that don't make no never mind or don't matter to what's going on with life. They make up laws and shit like this while we're not looking. And now we are in some real shit. When you're at those delicate ages, you shouldn't have a care in the world. But apparently these people don't think that. Apparently these people have something else planned. We need as much information as we can get on this shit, because this shit don't sound good at all.
We have some news right now. Elon Musk just had one of the worst 24 hours in recent memory. Yesterday, we learned that Tesla sales have plummeted across Europe from about 14,000 cars sold in 2024 in the month of April to just about 7,000 cars sold in 2025 in that same time period, despite the fact that electric vehicle sales overall are still on the rise. Then overnight, a SpaceX rocket launch failed once again. This was the 9th launch. It did go farther than some of the others, but it still was not a successful launch. Then we learned that Elon Musk has come out and publicly broke against Donald Trump when it comes to the big, beautiful bill, saying that the Trump administration's budget bill undermines the progress of Doge, seemingly suggesting that Elon Musk is on the outside looking in at this point when it comes to the Trump administration and what he is doing. Twitter has also had major issues. Tesla's stock has not completely rebounded just yet. So Musk is now shifting focus. Spread the word and follow along for all the news you need to know about.
This administration is going to disappear a 4-year-old with a life-threatening medical condition, knowing that if they do, she will be unalived within days. Her family would like us to use her initials SGV. They were brought here legally during Biden's presidency under the humanitarian program. She suffers from short bowel syndrome and therefore cannot absorb any food. When they came to the US, they were able to give her life-saving treatments. She is on IV nutrition 14 hours a day. They were not able to get her the treatments necessary for her to live in Mexico. So therefore, her family came here to the US. And now she's in stable condition. She goes to preschool and she is able to get all the care she needs. But unfortunately, Donneria and his administration are telling this family that they must self-deport. Their medical team has advised that if they were removed from the United States, that it would be fatal for her. Fatal within days. Her family works. Medical care is covered. They came here legally. But Donneria and this administration think that they are an inconvenience. And therefore, they are making them self-deport. I need you to hear this part. The same app that this family used to come here legally to save their child is now tracking them to make sure that they self-deport. It is tracking them. Do you understand how inhumane that is? All because Donneria doesn't like the fact that Biden allowed them to come here to save their child. So now he wants the child removed, and we know how that ends. It is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely. Tell me again how any of this is pro-life. Tell me. What is pro-life about this?
I just saw news that Trump is pardoning the Chrisleys, which, girl, at this point, he's pardoned more criminals than he's deported. But of course, the felon-in-chief doesn't care much about the law because the pardons are going to white people and the deportations are going to brown people. Hope this helps.
In less than a minute, here are the top 3 news stories you need to know today. SpaceX's Starship rocket ended in a fiery failure last night. This is now the 3rd straight mission to be unsuccessful. Elon Musk has left Doge in order to focus on his now floundering companies. Tesla saw 71% drop in profit in Q1. Twitter has seen an 8% drop in users in the last quarter. His companies are seeing a massive struggle as a result of his involvement in U.S. politics. HBO unveiled the lead cast for its new Harry Potter TV series. You can see them here. Over 30,000 kids across the UK auditioned for the 3 main roles. It will be a decade-long project. Each book on the Harry Potter series, each of the 7, will have its own season. And finally, Harvard has revoked the tenure of business professor Francesca Gino after it was discovered that she manipulated data in order to support her conclusions. It's the first time Harvard has removed tenure since 1940. One of her studies was on workplace dishonesty. I do these news roundups every day, so if you enjoyed, please follow, and I'll see you tomorrow.